Hi, this is John Dodds from the Pip and Dodds podcast. I'm also the publisher of MarquetteHoops.com, which is on the 24/7 Sports Network. We are the Pip and Dodds podcast without Pip today. Pip's on assignment, but I want to light this candle and pick it up with Joe Chapman. Joe, we had you on about a week, 10 days ago, and we appreciate the time. Actually, it must have been longer than that. It was
it's probably like 3 weeks. Yeah, like 3 weeks.
It was just before you left in the TBT tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You went in and you won that tournament. First of all, congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it was great to, go with what we said. We wanted to go out there and take that last step, and guys were motivated to do it, and we got it done.
I want to talk about in your one-year-old son is in the background?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's in his high chair now. He's eating.
Okay, good. Well, if you have to leave, we'll understand. Question for you: the last second play, there was a missed 3-point by the Cancer team, and Elgin Cook got the rebound and got fouled, and that allowed you to sub. And I was listening up closely to the TV, and you were saying flare screen, and then you pointed out to Travis Diener, Travis, I want you right here, on the right side in front of the bench. Kind of describe what you were looking at and how you subbed Travis in.
Yeah, well, I knew we wanted offense-defense with Derek Wilson or Maurice Acker on defense, and I knew I wanted Travis on offense. And it just so happened to work out that way that they fouled right away, and I was able to get my guys in. And Travis came in the game. After they missed that shot, he came up the court. He looked at us on the sideline, and his exact words are you guys ready to win some money? He's laughing up the court, looking up the court. And at this time, we already had the play drew up, and I just subbed Trav in. It was a side flare to get Jamil isolated on the side after a ball screen with Bikes and have Travis in the corner. So if they did pinch in at all, our goal was to shoot the three because we knew a three can win. A two, it still leaves another possession. So even if we missed that three, they couldn't beat us with another shot. We still had 2 chances to make 3 points. So our goal is to go after it right away instead of going for a two. So when the side flare happened, they switched it. That's when Bikes went to the hole. They collapsed. He passed to Elgin. Elgin kicked it back out. And they collapsed again. And, DJO and Travis is on a weak side. And I told them just to wait there. If these guys are not paying attention, they're going to, just do what comes natural to their body, which is to help. And they helped, and, the rest is history.
The key play in there, the key player to me was the pass by Cook.
Yeah.
Because he was right there. And I would think that 99% of all players, when you're right there with a no-footer, you're going to shoot the ball. You're so close. But he kicked it out to Travis. And would you talk about that?
And that's something we talked about in the huddle. We got a veteran team who's been playing in this Elam Enden for about 4 or 5 years. So we know what this Enden means. So guys knew we needed a three-pointer to win. So Elgin was very unselfish. He had a great game. He could have easily went up for the shot. He saw all 3 people collapse from the weak side, which is, unheard of at this point in the game, that left Travis wide open for the shot.
One thing about Fran Fraschilla, he was in Tom Crean's wedding. He's had a good relationship with the Marquette people. He's seen enough Marquette basketball over the years to form an opinion. And after the first game, he was saying, I think this Marquette team has a heck of a shot because they've been there. They're probably the best team in there, and they get along really well.
Mm-hmm.
Have the experience. Is that what you thought too, all the way through?
Yeah. You got to have continuity in this game. You can't be too young. You got to have some young pieces around veterans. I think a lot of teams mess up by having a young team like the Dayton team that would have had a number 1 seed this year. They had, 4 or 5 of their players playing for the Red Scare team that we played. And, we knew we were going to just wear them down mentally because they were just young. So, we had to get over that hurdle. I think you got to come to camp with veteran guys who's been here, keeping your core the same so everyone gets along, because it's only 3 weeks. And sometimes it's hard to change your role that you've been having all your career, your whole life, and change it for the betterment of the team in 3 weeks. So, guys kind of brought into that this year of, DJO, who's the MVP of the tournament. I told him right away, like, hey, you're playing off the bench. And he was like, okay, whatever we got to do to win, that's what I want to do. And that's something we didn't have in the past is, guys buying into every aspect of their role, that whatever it might be.
It's interesting. When you look at your roster, first of all, Travis Diener, now tell me, you signed him up without telling him?
Yeah. Because John, as a coach and a player, you need someone who is better coming from a player that people will follow. You need leaders on the team, and he's the captain. He's a forever captain on, Marquette, and you need his voice more than you need his playing. And you need that leadership. And I knew going into it that this team is not complete without our leader, without our captain, without the guy you want the ball in his hands at the end of games. He's going to make the right play. At the end of that game, he made, 3 plays, out of bounds play. He made the assist,
right?
The kickback, Jamil for the 3, and then he made the 3 himself. So you want to have veterans there. You want to have leaders that other people will follow. 5 years playing in the NBA, guys are going to listen to what he has to say. But for me, I knew he was playing golf that day, and TBT was asking, like, hey, who's next? You're mentioning Travis. Is it Dwayne? I'm like, no, we need Travis. So just put his name on there. And they tweeted it out, and about time it got tweeted out, there's no way he can turn back and say, hey, I can't do it now. He won't turn out to be the best guy if he decided not to play. People are gonna yell at him and stuff like that. So I made sure just to add him and tricked him into coming along. He didn't want to come. A lot of guys, it was a lot of commitment for 14 days, not being around your family, no friends, you just stuck in a bubble. So it was a tough commitment to make, and I'm glad guys decided to do it.
Plus, he's got to stay away from his family. He's got 3 young kids.
Right.
That's a big sacrifice.
That is.
One of the interesting things was DJO said this at the end when they gave him the MVP, and DJO was saying we hope to give America hope, because this was the first live sporting event that anybody had seen really since, except for maybe an outdoor soccer match or something, since March Madness.
Yeah.
That was canned. So the preparation, the $2 million prize money went down to $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
All the COVID expenses associated with sterilizing things and keeping you in the bubble. How did that work? How did that work for you, or how did that? What challenges did that present?
Well, it was a challenge. I mean, staying in the bubble, but again, though, it was fun. I mean, because it's like you're back in college. It's like AAU, and you can, stay in a hotel. You guys are in each other's room, playing cards, drinking beer, watching games. So you get to know the guys on a personal level. That if we were, say, for instance, last year in Chicago, where we had all of our families there, you didn't see the guys only at practice, only at, after the games. You didn't really get a chance to mingle and enjoy it, the moment, because you had so many outside influences where the bubble creates, it's only you going through it. It's no one else. So the good, bad, or indifferent, you guys can talk about it. You can watch the game back again. You can continue to grow as a team inside of a bubble. The food was great, but we can order food that we want. If players didn't like the food or allergic to anything, it was different options for that. And they did a great job of putting a great bubble around us.
It seemed like your team, you had 3-point shooting, you had tough defense, and it seemed like your guards were very careful with the ball. Your turnover rate was lower than most of the other teams. And when there's an all-star team, and if you have to do something with your son, feel free. But what was your philosophy on picking the roster, and what was your philosophy on, say, the offense that you would run?
Yeah, so A couple of things is I always wanted to go a 3-guard lineup to begin with to take care of the ball. You mentioned that we didn't turn the ball over much. I like to carry 5, 6 guards. Half the roster are guards. So with Rousey, Diener, Derek Wilson, Bikes, DJO, and Maurice Acker, that's 6 guards right there who can all handle the ball, have good assist to turnover ratios. But the most important thing was taking care of the ball and keeping the ball in the right guy's hands. And sometimes you got so many scores that you want to create, sometimes the scores need to overlap with each other instead of all having them out there at the same time. You want to have an overlap where DJO and Bikes are not on the court at the same time all the time. Where, Derek is coming, he's that defender, in the beginning, and Maurice Acker is a shooter and a defender. So you need that balance as a team. And so, and Elgin and I want to have stretch guys with Elgin Cook and Jamil Wilson playing a 4-5 when there usually are 4 threes. So I wanted to create that mismatch at top. So, anyone's 5 got to guard really a 3-man in Jamil. And that's a hard task to do because he shoots a lot of threes and stuff like that. So it just made it a little bit, harder for teams to guard us.
I remember when I interviewed Bob Huggins from West Virginia the year that Buzz Williams had his really small lineup of Acker, Kubi, DJO, Jimmy Butler, and Lazar Hayward.
Yep.
And I went up to him and it was at Madison Square Garden after a game. I said, "What do you think of Marquette?" He goes, "I hate him." Said, "Why do you hate him?" He said, "Because Buzz Williams plays those guys where everyone can hit a 3 from 5 positions, and it forces me to take my bigs out, and I have to match up." And I'm always fascinated by the domino. The domino is sitting there. Which way does it fall? Who has to adjust first?
I agree, and that's something that we considered, and that's why last year we didn't have a traditional big, but we brought one in this year with Big Luke, just in case we played a team that we had to match up and go bigger in the game. So that's why I say we had a complete roster, because it's hard to play small. If you want to match us small for small, I think our smalls are going to do a better job than most smalls, and I think Sideline Cancer in the second half just played a lot of small ball and one big, traditional big.
Yeah.
And that kind of caught them at the end of the game.
Well, you gradually made the step. It was, you went to the quarterfinals, then the semifinals, then lost in the finals. And you had to take advantage. I mean, the pressure was on you.
Yeah.
The opportunity of guys who are in their 30s.
Yeah.
They're great players, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Who's going to be young coming in, getting experience, or who's role to play. Like you had to retire after you decided to retire after like 2 years in it.
Yep.
You had to do it.
Yeah, you had to do it. And every guy knew that on the team. Just for me playing from a point of view, I knew that, we went to the Elite Eight the 2 times that I played. And I knew it was another step that we needed to take. So the first year that I coached, we went to the semifinals, also overseas elite, and they were just head and shoulders better than us that year. We didn't have Bikes, we didn't have DJO, and, we didn't have those scoring guards that we needed. But the next year we went to the finals, and guys knew that we had to win this year. They knew that was important to have that win. And we didn't know if we were going to come back if we didn't win. It's hard to keep coming for 2 or 3 weeks, out of a busy summer, and it's hard to come so close and keep losing every time, and we're getting older. But I told the guys in the meeting that if we win this, we can go, 2, 3 in a row because of the roster we have, and getting over that hump, it just provides more experience in a crunch time.
Do you see other players coming in? Is there more interest? Obviously, I don't expect Dwayne Wade and Wesley Matthews to be playing those that can't play, but do you see other people down the line that you might be able to add to get some younger legs to match your $5 stake defensive toughness kind of a thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's something that we want to continue to be younger in certain positions, but continue to have our core. The guys deserve to come back and defend their title. But guys like Juan Anderson and Devontae Gardner, that's something that, is important to have is, guys like that or bigger bodies can throw Devontae the ball inside, in the Elam Minden. No one can guard him, and he's automatic from the free throw line. So, there's certain pieces that you think about to continue to get younger, but at the point right now, we want to bring that core back who's been winning.
Do you, what would you like to do in coaching? Do you ultimately you're very successful with your camps. Do you ultimately want to do something more in AAU, or do you want to go into college, or do you want to stay away from that, or would you like to go into some type of professional coaching? What do you see?
Yeah, I just love the way our academy is going right now. It's getting bigger and better each year with 1,500 athletes and 50 AAU teams. And we got a building coming next year. We got great, sponsors and stuff like that. I love coaching. I won an 8th grade girls championship this year in a feeder program. And I just love coaching. I don't know what the future holds in that. I think at some point I can make interest with that in coaching. It has to be the right situation. I think I'm past the point of being someone's grad assistant or third assistant or something like that. But if it's the right situation, we'll definitely take a listen to it. And we just love the way our academy is growing, and we want to continue to help as many kids as we can.
Well, I know Bo Ryan made over $1 million selling his swing tapes. I'm just wondering if you could take some of your out of bounds plays, because they sure seem to be effective. You were that Diener pass to Jamil Wilson was one of the keys in right at the end of that game. Championship game. But you always seem to get a set out of a timeout where you got a really good look out of it. So you're well schooled in that regard.
Yeah, and I got that from Coach Kareem. I'm always well prepared, as I always have a cheat sheet next to me of plays and stuff like that I always coach with. I never coach with this thinking on the fly. I always coach with a plan, where out of a timeout or at a halftime or first play of the game, I can always go to my set plays and stuff like that to remember. And, that's something I want to do is, help as many coaches as I can with what I have, knowledge base of plays and knowledge base of what works and switching defenses. I love, playing different styles of defense on the same game. A lot of coaches like to display, man only or zone only. With me, I like to mix it up to throw the other coach off. He calls timeout, I'm in something else. That's just a fun part of the game that I don't know that a lot of coaches like, but it's been working for me with every level that I've coached at.
What did you do on defense, I know that they were expecting you to do certain things, and so you changed to zone, or you changed to matchup?
Yeah, we played a full court triangle and 2 on King and Creek.
Okay.
We just wanted to deny King the ball the whole game. We played a full court boxing 1 on him as well. We played a matchup 3-2 in a half court. We played 2-3, first pass man-to-man, where they thought we were in the zone. We're yelling out zone, 2-3, 2-3. So they set up in a zone play, and immediately we're in man-to-man. So when you do different things like that, it just throws the other person off of just the flow of their game. On the sideline, out of bounds, we always trap the first pass with the guy who threw the ball in. So we just know that people can't prepare to that type of stuff in a 2 or 3 week tournament.
Al McGuire always used to say that you can only communicate as a coach 1 or 2 things in a timeout.
Yep.
If you drop a play and then the other team comes out and they're all set to think about this play, and you go from a man to a 2-3 or a 1-3-1, all of a sudden there's just element of doubt. And he said the whole timeout could be wasted.
Yes, and that's what I want to do. I always try to coach where the first person makes the first time out, the other coach. I always want the other coach to make the first time out, and we adjust from there. We might have played full court man-to-man, but he called a timeout to set up a press breaker. Now we're in a 1-3-1. So that's always the fun part for me of coaching, is to mess with the other coach and to out-game plan them. That's the fun part of coaching for me that I would love to cherish at some point.
Yeah, my dad coached at Tosa East in the 60s or early 70s. He had a great team, and they weren't quick, so they did a 2-1-2.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever the opponent their best players would cut into it, they'd play man on that player. But when their weak player came in, they just continued to play the zone. Nobody could figure out what he was doing.
Yeah, and that's what we did. You know, we played a lot of different defenses, but anytime that ball hits the middle, we played man-to-man. So if we're in half-court 2-3 or 3-2 or 1-2-2, anytime that ball hit the middle, it's a matchup man-to-man.
We're talking with Joe Chapman, the championship coach for the Golden Eagles in the basketball tournament. We're going to take a break right now, and we'll come right back.